Hi guys, what's going on? Welcome back to a new video. Today I'll be talking about XLM, what's been happening with Stellar, what are the price action for the next couple of weeks, month, what can we expect to happen next as we've got positive sentiments and news as well as negative sentiments coming in, and what is the future going to hold for Stellar. So guys, if you don't want to miss any of that important information, make sure you like, comment and subscribe to the channel, and let's get straight on with the video. On a little side note guys, make sure you check us out at ptgr.ag and book a free consultancy call so you can learn more about cryptocurrencies. It's free, so guys, make sure you check it out. So guys, let's jump straight into the video. What's been happening with Stellar? I first wanted to review some of the price action because I mean we've been on a dreadful. If you look at what's been happening with the price action recently, the bears have been taking the upper hand. Clearly, we've lost about 5% in the last 24 hours, if we look, and that's pretty significant considering the fact that Stellar is already so low, right? But I remember making a video back last year. If we look at an all-time, when Stellar was back at 70 cents and now it's trading little over 10 cents. I mean, so I believe that Stellar can very much reach these price action back again in the future. It's just a matter of time and factors, the macroeconomics factor that will help drive that price on an uptrend. I mean, currently it's impossible for Stellar to be on an uptrend, considering the fact that everything around the world is so bad in terms that there's currently a war happening between Russia and Ukraine. You have political pressure between these countries with oil and gas price going up. I mean, you've also got inflation rising drastically, interest rate rising drastically. So all these factors are negatively affecting the crypto market as well as the equity market. So as a whole, this is very kind of this tension that's happening between the world that is hence affecting us all in a negative way, right? So what's interesting though is I wanted to look at this and show you a bit, because if you what would it require for you to actually make $1 million or become a millionaire from XLM, right? So if you put XLM here, sorry, you go XLM Stellar, and then you would put 12 sorry, 100,000 $120,000 at an expected price of $1, because that's always been my threshold point, which I believe Stellar can very much reach. That's actually attainable. Then you could very much come out with a profit of $1 million, right? So that's pretty much what you would be looking into. But of course, not everyone has 120,000 laying around. But if you were to even invest 12,000, that would still give you a profit of 102,000. So it's very much significant. Again, if you were to invest 1,200, you still come out with $10,000 profit. So and you'd still be looking at a 9x. Of course, if you're putting 120,000, your profit margin would be much higher, but that is normal, right? Because you're increasing your risk as well. So I thought that was just an interesting light to show in these sad times, to try and put some positive sentiments towards this, and to show that yeah, it's very doable. I mean, if you looked at Stellar's already reached at its peak, reached 89 cents from a low of 0.035. I mean, it's doable, guys. $1 is very much doable, and it's something you could be seeing yourself pocketing $1 million if you were to invest 120,000 into the coin right now. So guys, now that we talked about this, I wanted to talk about all the positive sentiments that's revolving around Stellar right now. You've got Starlight, which is the layer 2 payment channel protocol for Stellar. A lot of good news with regards to that, but they has scaled well since the network launch in 2014 while maintaining fast and safe finality guarantee. However, SCF, we're building for future where everybody around the globe has equitable access to financial services. What they've basically done is a layer 2 protocol that defines a bidirectional half duplex payment channel. And they've involved the concept in the previous version of Starlight to make use of new capabilities introduced by recent protocols upgrade from CAP 15 to CAP 33, as well as new proposal and review from CAP 21 to CAP 40. The first one is a transaction precondition. Basically, what they've done is they've minimized the sequences number precondition so that groups of transactions can skip sequences numbers on account. And what they've done is that basically they've done a way so that it can store and revoke the old agreement as they are implicitly invalidated by a new agreement, as you can see on the diagram. And that are the that's with regards to transaction precondition, and that changed with the GAP 21. It added a suite of new preconditions that can be added to a transaction, and those preconditions are conditions that must be satisfied for a transaction to in order to be valid. An example of a well-known precondition is a transaction time-bound, and the transaction needs to be submitted during its time bound. And the CAP 21 adds ledger bounds, minimum sequence number, extra signer, as well as the ability to create relative time locks. Another one that's quite interesting is you've got improvement in the atomic signature disclosure. From the CAP 40, they extended the CAP 21 and adds a new type of signer to the Stellar network. The signature of another transaction. Starlight uses this to automatically authorize multiple transactions by disclosing the signature for one transaction inside of another. That's really the main improvement, because this makes it safer for multi-participant and multi-transaction contract protocol like Starlight to pass multiple transactions in a single message rather than needing to use multi-part handshake protocol. This reduces the number of messages payment channel users needed to pass back and forth, and reduces the number of potential channel states and increases the number of agreements that Starlight can process per second. Finally, what they improved was also the buffering. And the buffering is that they've been experimenting with builds on the Starlight protocol, and they've implemented buffering, which is not defined in the Starlight protocol, but it's one pattern that is well suited to be used at the top of the protocol. Basically, what they want to do is serial payment channels such as Starlight are usually limited by the latency of the network they operate. But what they've done is, if you think of, is that buffering is similar to batch of processing in slow traditional payment system, except that because Starlight is fast, buffers are small and transmit quickly, so it maintains the fast finality. And so that will drastically help with regards to the Starlight for the community in the long term. And what they've done is the Starlight is producing 38 payments per second unbuffered and 1.19 million payments per second buffered in 12 agreements per second. I mean, it shows the scale of XLM, and people are not really realizing how big XLM could become in the long term, because this was observed between two participants that connected over the internet using consumer hardware and residential internet services when those payments are following consistent in one direction. I mean, 1.19 payment per second, guys. This shows the scalability of Stellar and of Starlight protocol. The next one I wanted to talk about, MoneyGram, guys. MoneyGram partner with Stellar for Transfer Wallet. That's a great news, because basically MoneyGram does not require a bank account, and that is great for countries like El Salvador, which are struggling with hyperinflation, but also much less economically developed country, which will allow greater access for remittance payments and stuff like that. So in a recent interview with Bloomberg, the CEO of MoneyGram said that MoneyGram wanted to bridge cryptocurrency to the sector and the fiat world, and also added that MoneyGram was also holding a talk with third-party firm that provides digital wallets in El Salvador. That will be very good to see. We'll have to see how that develops. But what I quickly wanted to look also into was the latest tweet, guys. Stellar reached 7 million account. That's a great threshold. It shows that Stellar is growing slowly but surely, and it's very reassuring to see that the total account is growing on a constantly basis. Another one is you have the sneak peek of the internal Slack with MoneyGram. They are successfully cashed out in Suriname, Kyrgyzstan, and Venezuela. It's a true, like he says, Mark, is a true global reach. I mean, it's really nice to see that you've got implementation of these technology actually being used and being helpful to people around the world. Finally, you've got new asset listing from, for example, Change Finance. Happy to announce the new support of XLM in the Change app. You are seeing mass adoption of XLM. Also, for example, X Investors, big news for the community. XLM will be listed soon on xinvestor.com. And that is great to see, guys. Mass adoption overall, great project between XLM, and I think much more great news is about to come for XLM. I think we can still believe that XLM in the future will go to that $1 valuation. It's nothing crazy, and if you are looking into becoming a millionaire from XLM, just make sure to have a side a couple 100,000. 120,000 will be exactly what you'll need to reach that $1 million valuation. Guys, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.